Back here on the PAC Sports Network for our halftime show as we're at the break between Waynesburg and Franciscan, and we're now joined by the head coach of the Franciscan men's basketball team, Coach Joe Wallace. Coach, first off, thanks so much for joining us today. Your team's been playing some really good basketball as of late, and I'm curious just to hear what you think the key has been during this strong run.
The obvious key with our group is, we have guys that compete. We play pretty darn hard. It's not the prettiest form of basketball at times, but we have a together group. We practice really hard, and we have a group that embraces physicality, and it's. That's why I said it's not the prettiest form of basketball at times, and it can be with this group as we keep heading into February, because we do have some young talented players. But I've been really pleased with our level of compete right now. Really have been.
Well, you've definitely been playing really well as of late, and it goes all the way back to the beginning of the season. Really started with some really strong non-conference games and some opponents that really have, in some regards, maybe have a kind of a national pedigree to them. How can those early season non-conference games, do you feel, really help your team kind of push further down the line and make a big run in the PAC playoffs?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It gives our guys confidence. They know they can win games, especially if they're tight. We've won some. We've been able to close some games out down the stretch in some back and forth games. The one thing about the PAC this year is it's from top to bottom really good. We've said that for the last few years, but this is the best in my opinion. It's been since we've been in this league. Every night is a fight, and challenging yourself in the non-conference and being ready for these games. 20 out of 25 league games is you're tested every night. But our guys have confidence anytime we step on the floor. Whoever we're going against, it doesn't really matter to them who we're competing. But yeah, we've been battle tested, and I like where we're at right now. We still have to continue to keep getting better on the offensive end as a group right now, and we're showing some progress with that. We are.
Well, you brought back a lot of talent from last season. You mentioned some of the young players, but one of the most experienced guys on your team, Josh Zimmerman, back for another season. I'm curious to also hear from you just what you think it says about who he is as a player, as a person, and what he means to Franciscan. The fact that he decided to come back for another year, especially in this day and age where the transfer portal is very prevalent, and he could have upped and left and gone somewhere else.
Yeah, he could have. I think it not just goes, within our family on the basketball team, but, Josh being from Steubenville, he understands how important it is for him to show success at this level for kids in this area. And he has really taken that on in a way that a lot of young people don't. And he not just how he performs on the court, but what he's doing in the classroom, getting his MBA right now. And he also is he's taking online classes. So he works for one of our local real estate companies too. So, the guy's a sharp young man. Yeah, he could have left, but I think it goes to the guys in our locker room and the people on campus. Josh is a really well-known person, not only, at Franciscan, but in Steubenville. And I think it means that much to him to see this thing through in Steubenville, Ohio, and what he's able to accomplish. Yes, Josh is special, though.
Well, you brought in a player that's very familiar with the PAC and Travis Zimmerman, a transfer from Bethany. Yep. Really important player offensively and defensively, especially in the rebounding category. How big of a difference does he make on the floor on both sides of the ball?
Oh, a huge difference. A lot of things I don't even notice. You can look at the rebounding stats, but what he does defensively, being able to cover a lot of ground, and he plays extremely hard. Like I talked about earlier about our makeup of our group, they compete, and yeah, Travis will bring it on the defensive end, and he can take away a lot of mistakes that we make, maybe whether it's guarding the basketball or in an action. And the kid is an elite level athlete. He gets up and down the floor quickly. He moves well without the basketball, and he's on the glass constantly. So it's brought a different element to us, which has been nice. And Travis continued to keep, taking these steps. Because Travis got 2 more years left, or a year after this too. So it's been a maturity process with him on and off the court, and he's done a great job. The guy's grown into a man here since he's been here, and we're so pleased with him. Not just, again, like I talked about Josh, but what Travis has done, in the classroom and on campus. He's a guy that brings a smile to everybody. He brings like a joyfulness to who he is, and it's contagious. And that alone has brought a lot to our team too, because Trav, he's an outgoing personality, and he likes to rise other people too with that personality he has. Yeah.
I want to get into some of the young talent because Sawyer Butler, a player that really kind of, made a lot of noise last year as a freshman, back for another season as a sophomore. What do you think it is about his game that makes him such a threat offensively?
He doesn't stop. She has a short memory too, which is good and bad at times. We embrace it with Sawyer. And I keep saying the same words. Like, he's a competitor. Like, if Sawyer is 0 for 5 from the field, he's not gonna stop competing defensively. And that allows him to get maybe some easier ones, whether it's on the glass or in transition, or maybe gets a steal, because he's a really good defender as well. I mean, a tough kid, a lot of toughness with Sawyer. And there's at times, you'll see the flash with his game, but I think that the core of who he is his toughness. I mean, he is a tough kid, and he brings it every possession. And sometimes we got to dial him back a little bit, but he's learning now too, because he's getting, the teams are getting more physical with him, which they should. I mean, that's how you want to guard a kid like that. You can't let him have easy looks and be able to put the ball down and get into the paint, because Sawyer embraces contact around the rim. He wants to get to the foul line a lot, and he's understanding that his change of speeds now has to keep getting better, and that's the next gear for him, because he shot the ball. He's had some games where the ball hasn't gone in for him as much, but he shoots the ball at a high clip from three when he has a good look. And a guy like that wants physicality around the rim is a good mix, especially the way we play.
Well, you mentioned competitiveness, physicality. I think this next player, Carl Yanku, he embodies all of that. I'm curious to hear just how much reassurance that gives you as a head coach, knowing you've got a guy like that that's very young, still has 2-3 more years left of eligibility, and he could do a little bit of everything on the floor.
Yeah, Carl, I talked about with Travis. Now, Carl takes us to another level defensively. Carl erases mistakes constantly for us defensively. He's able to guard 1 through 5. He can guard physicality in the post. He can guard a perimeter guy. His talk defensively too, and his understanding of our schemes and what we're trying to do is at a high level. And Carl's taking steps forward. We're seeing some more confidence with him around the rim right now. I mean, because Carl, again, he's a guy that wants physicality at the rim, wants to get to the rim. And we're seeing, especially during this break right now without classes, he's been able to, put more time in, because the thing about Carl is he's probably taken one of the toughest majors here on campus as a mechanical engineer. So his days when we have classes are really tough. I mean, his mind is fried by the time he gets to practice. So right now we're seeing a clear mind from him. He's being able to put more time into the gym and work on his game. And hopefully we can continue to see these steps, with him offensively. But I mean, I don't want him off the floor on the defensive end. I mean, we lose stuff with that, but it's the way it goes. And he's young. He's learning a lot of things, especially the way we're playing offensively this year.
Well, it definitely seems like a very exciting year for basketball in Steubenville, Ohio for you guys. And Coach, before we get you out of here, I'm curious to hear what you think it's going to be that continues to push you guys forward deeper into PAC play and eventually into the tournament.
Yes, definitely. I mean, we have to get more consistent on the offensive end. That's a definite thing. There's days when we do look good, and there's days we look really bad. And that we're spending a lot of time on that right now, because we do have a lot of time, which is good. But I think that I'm going to go back to it. The heart and soul of this team is our next play mentality as a team is really good. So if we're struggling where we go 3 or 4 possessions without scoring, we don't let off the gas defensively. We are, and I think that has gotten us a couple wins. We talked earlier about Josh Zimmerman. We were without him at Allegheny and at Bethany. And for taking that piece out of a team like this that does have a bunch of younger guys on the floor, to go get 2 conference road wins without him was that mentality that this group has. It's constantly next play. And both those games went down to the stretch, and we were able to find ways to win there at the end. At the end of the day, like, that mentality and our toughness and physicality has to continue to take another step forward, because there's teams that maybe are a lot more prettier offensively than us, but we have to make them play our style of basketball and disrupt them. And I feel like we can do that, and we can get ourselves into that tournament. There's no reason why we can't make a run at this thing because of the way we play, because it's tough to go against us defensively the way we go.
Coach, excited for the rest of the season for you
definitely.
And the Barons. Thanks so much for stopping by, and good luck the rest of the year.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
That's Franciscan men's basketball head coach Joe Wallace. Don't move a muscle. We've got more basketball coming up next right here on the PAC Sports Network.